For this blanket, we are going to call this large isosceles triangle Triangle A. It has 12 rows. And if you are making the blanket the same size as mine, you will need to make 20 of these large triangles. I'm using US terminology and I'm going to start my triangle with a magic ring. Holding your yarn in your left hand, wrap your yarn twice around 2 fingers. Pull a loop up through the center of the ring, yarn over and make a chain to secure your magic ring. Now make 3 extra chains, so 1, 2 and 3. This 4 chain counts as 1 double crochet and 1 corner chain. Now we're going to do 3 double crochets to make the granny cluster. So yarn over, hook in the loop, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Another double crochet is yarn over, hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And then we'll do 1 more. Now for the first row, we do a chain 1. Now we do another granny cluster. So 3 double crochets, chain 1 and 1 double crochet on this side. Okay, there's our first row. Taking your hook out of your work, pulling on that yarn end and grabbing hold of whichever loop cinches in. Now pull that loop out and it'll cinch the other loop in. Now all you have to do is pull the yarn end and your magic circle is tightened. All right, row number 2. We're going to start with 3 chains, that counts as a stitch. 1 chain for a corner. Turn your work. Now we're going to work a granny cluster into this space here. So yarn over, hook in, pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now do 2 more into that same space. Now heading over to this chain space here, which is going to become the little corner peak. So do 1 granny cluster, which is 3 double crochets, chain 1, and in that same space another granny cluster. 1, 2 and 3. Now working over to the next chain space. So you're skipping this cluster and working into the next space here with 1 granny cluster and 3. Now chain 1 and 1 double crochet back into that same space. That's row number 2 done. For row number 3, we're going to chain 3 and an extra 1, turn our work and now do a granny cluster into that first space below. And this is basically the pattern that you do for the whole triangle, and it expands each row, growing in size. So we're doing the granny cluster in the next chain space. Then the next chain space is where we do 2 granny clusters and a chain in between. So that's 1 cluster, chain 1 and doing another granny cluster in that same corner space. 1, 2 and 3. Making another granny cluster here where you can see there's a space. I'm not putting chains in between my clusters on the sides of the triangle, only at the point. And this end bit, of course. Okay, we're doing another cluster into this space, chain 1 and another double crochet into that same space. Chaining 3, that counts as a double crochet. Chain 1, which counts as a corner. Turn your work and do a granny cluster into that space below. Now working granny clusters along the side where you can see the spaces in between the clusters. That's one lot, two, and now we're coming up to this corner where we do a cluster, chain one and another cluster, all in that same space. That's one, chain one, and another cluster. Now working along this side, you've got two spaces in which to put a granny cluster in each. So it's 3 double crochet there, skipping a cluster and working another 3 double crochet. Whoops, lost a bit of my yarn there. 2 and 3. Now a granny cluster in this next space along the bottom. 1, 2 and 3, chain one and a double crochet back into that same space. Chaining 3, counting as a double crochet. Chaining 1 for a corner. Turn your work, work a granny cluster into that space below. Now working your granny clusters across the side. That's 1, 2 and 3. You can see here with each row we're increasing the size. Now we're going to do the granny cluster into this corner, chain 1 and another granny cluster into this same corner. Now working down the side with a granny cluster in each space. That's 1, this is 2 and 3 before we get to the bottom of the triangle. Now we're at the bottom and we're working into this space here with a cluster, 1, 2 and 3, a chain 1 and another double crochet. Okay, that is basically your repeat. You're going to chain 3, add 1 for a corner, turn your work and work your way again across the side, then doing the corner with a cluster, chain 1 cluster, working down the other side. Okay, so continue that on until you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12 corners that you can count. I'll keep going and I'll meet you a little further along down the track. Now I'm up to row number 11. We've done 10 rows and you count this corner point here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 2 more rows and this triangle will be complete. At the end of our 12 rows, we're just going to snip off our yarn, pull that loop through and darn our yarn ends in. I'm just weaving them in and out along the side of this triangle. Then turn around and go back the way that I came, in and out. This one down here, I'm going to take it through the bottom of that cluster and on the other side as well. Then darn it along the bottom of the triangle. Like so. You can either keep going or backtrack, whichever way you like. This thread is definitely going to be crocheted or sewed over when we join our triangles. There we go.